Good morning. It's the morning. It is 8:30, about 8:30 a.m. The sun is beaming. It's not, I don't know if y'all can see it, but the sun is beaming right on me. But it's not as humid as it usually would be. But I wanted to today is August 8th, 2018. It's the 8th month, 8th day in 2018. So it's a renewal day. Like this day is like it's in with the new and out with the old. You know, it's whether you destroy to rebuild, or the phoenix out of the ashes, being born again. And I just wanted to share some victory with you guys today. I wanted to share a victory today. I feel good. Like I haven't felt good like this since. Like I feel like, you ever feel like you could smell, like, how should I explain this? Like I could smell my past, or I could smell how I feel. Geese just flew by. Can y'all see it? A geese. What's the symbolism in that? What is the spiritual meaning in that? But I haven't felt this way in a long time. Like it feels like when I graduated from high school and I'm going into like college, and being in college and start working in the work field and being around new people. And you know, like sometimes you could smell that crisp in the air, or you might, like a smell might trigger you. Like I remember that smell. I was doing this when I smelled that. Those are the times when I was this, that, and the third. And I haven't felt like this in a long time. I feel like I'm in a childlike state, like not in a way where I'm being childish or immature, but just like feeling so, because lately I just been feeling so vulnerable and powerless, and I just feel like I had a lot of attachments and a lot of strongholds of, you know, situations that I tried to dig my way out of by trying to gain clarity. Like I always tell people, like, Google how you feel for the day. Like, you know, like why you feel like this. Find out what makes you feel like this. What triggers you. You know what I mean? That's what got me on this spiritual journey. Like I never went to like people. Like I used to be around people, and I used to always try to, you know, get my validation from people. Like if I did something, I'd be like, you think that was stupid? You know what I mean? Or what's your advice on this? Now I just look into the universe for the confirmation, and now I just, like, you know, dig deep into myself, and try to find out how I feel, and ask advice from the universe, you know, instead of people. But today I feel so victorious. Because yesterday I gained my power back. Like I was like dealing with this wicked witch. You know what I mean? And witch by all means a manipulator or a narcissist. You know, someone who manipulates their surroundings. And you know, this boss I had, like or supervisor I had, was just, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't even want to ruin this feeling. But you know, I like to record or journal, or make a diary of my life. So I always was trying to find a purpose in things. Like I didn't want to just come out with my work and not have a purpose. Like I really worked on my purpose. And you know, I'm not a materialistic person. I'm more of a spiritual person, and I rely on, you know, my spirit guides to or my angels, or my guardian angels, to help me get through my journey. So I'm not a materialistic person. Like, you know what I mean? I'm 33. I don't drive, but it's not a big deal for me to drive. I'm a city girl. I know how to jump on a train or a bus, and I feel like the hassle of getting a car and having a car note at this point in time in my life is unnecessary. My finances is not really like how I would like them to be, but I'm blessed, you know. If I can budget a $200 paycheck a week and still be on time with my rent, have food, be able to pay my internet, and, you know, get my side bills straight, keep my strawman account up to date. That's just simple things like making sure you have health insurance, dental insurance, staying in touch with your student loans. You know, in the mundane, in the material world, that's the things you gotta take precaution of. So trying to balance that out and balance your spiritual self out, or balance work and home all alone. I do it independently. I think I'm very, very disciplined. I think if you could budget a $200 to a $50 check, and I've been doing that for almost 10 years now. I was working 3 jobs that amount to how much I make now, and I wasn't getting anything in my income tax at the end of the year, so I just combined it all 3, stuck with this one, and I was doing the spiritual work or the inner work, the great work, and I've been doing my alchemy, like learning who I am as a person, and finding connections to different cultures to identify, you know, what is it to be a human. So, you know, nothing goes in vain. So I definitely, even though my financial situations are not where I would like them to be, and it was like very foggy and very foggy and unclear, because, you know, like I said, I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the hood. You know, we don't really have role models. We don't have people that's really don't have role models, and we really don't have people that are at a level where they can guide you. You know, they're just as lost as you are, you know. So I think that's very disciplined, and I think that's a strength. Like, if you could pull yourself up out of that black goo and make something of yourself, it doesn't even matter if you're a cashier, you know. You're not on the block selling drugs, you know. You're not wasting your time as all mean, but, you know, you might got enough strength to muster up to do that. But then where do you go after that? You know, who's gonna help you get to the next level? Because a cashier job or job stocking shelf should only be a stepping stone for you to do great things. That should be something, a side job, to where, you know, you might like want to get a car, you know. So let me get this side job so I could pay off this car note, or, you know, that should be something like a side job. Like, your career should be your career, and anything you choose in that as a career, you know what I'm saying? So, like, mine would be like a visual communications, you know, UX design, web design, graphic design, t-shirt designer, you know what I'm saying? Painting, drawing, you know. So I'm in the field of arts, you know, making music, writing, you know, whatever career, or journalism, whatever career, that's a career. But stocking shelves, flipping burgers, that's a stepping stone. Being on state is a stepping stone. Being on Section 8 is a stepping stone. It's not supposed to be there for you to live a life off of. You know what I mean? How can you pay your bills if you're a stocker? If you've been a stocker for 35 years, you might have a good, decent corporation job where, you know, they give you benefits, and they give you your benefits, and they give you, you know, your health insurance, 401k, you know, it's stability, you know. But how stable is it if, you know, you're scrapping with your coworkers all the time? You know, you got narcissistic bosses, you got bosses who abuse their power, you know, and, you know, it's not stable. It's an illusion, you know. and most of the time these places are toxic, because these are the places where, like, basically the lost go. If you work for a grocery store that's a corporation, you know, the grocery store I work for is a corporation, and that corporation was built on a graveyard. So, you know, we could go into the whole symbolism in that, you know, on how the dead are coming into these grocery stores and buying dead food, you know, but the environment overall is just toxic, you know, and I outgrew that. So, you know, when you coming up in the hood, in the ghetto, you know, and you muster up and break yourself from that black goo in order to just get you something. Because when I was young, when I took care of my younger sisters to the age of 13, like, I even kind of like homeschooled them. I say kinda until, like, what they was in, up until they was in their 5th grade. And when they got to middle school, I stopped, but I was homeschooling my sisters. You know what I mean? Ask them. I was teaching them how to fight and all that. And, you know, so when I got to the age of 13 where I was able to do what I want, and, you know, I got to the point where when they started going into to middle school, I got to the point where, you know, now they on their own, you know, and so I got to the point at the age of 13, and my mom, she was an absent-minded mom. I'm gonna be honest, but she wasn't. I mean, I got my ass whooped, but my mother wasn't mentally abusive. My mother wasn't abusive to the extent where she, you know, she you know what I mean. I just, let me put it like this. That's how I put it, like that. Like, my mom was an absent-minded parent, but she was there. But she didn't know nothing. So let's just put it like that. She didn't know nothing. Like, to the point on building legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come from the ghetto, we come from the hood. We don't know about building legacies. We don't know about building something to pass on. So my mother didn't have nothing to pass on. Like, I'm not gonna say that I didn't learn anything, because I learned how to survive. I learned how to defend myself. She was absent enough for me to be independent. Because, you know, like, if you had a parent who was always on top of you and then really give you your independence, I never really had that. So when someone comes to me and tries to overpower me and tries to take my independence away, I don't understand that, because I never grew up like that. So automatically, I'm going to defend myself. Like, when I feel like someone is pressing me, you know, or like I said, I had to deal with a narcissistic supervisor. So I could clearly tell from doing the inner work, like, she must have been abused, mentally abused or verbally abused by her parents, you know, and didn't really get her independence. So, you know, you see a young person coming into the world, and it's just like, you know, you feel the need to tame them, or you feel the need to control them, because it's like, you know, whatever mindset that you in at that time, or whatever triggers you, maybe something triggered her to the point where, like, who she thinks she is. She thinks she free. She thinks she could do whatever she wants to. No, we need to tame that. You know what I mean? So I fell under a guidance of a witch, basically. You know what I mean? A narcissist. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I learned from a lot of my mistakes or whatnot. So I grew up with that type of parenting, to where, you know, I was strong enough to utilize that independence. So at the age of 13, when I went out, you know, I had to provide for myself. I had to get my pads. My mom wasn't supporting, you know, my necessities. So I had to learn how to get my necessities, and the only way that I knew how to do that was to sell drugs. So when my mom finally gave me my child support checks, I flipped those child support I took a check and flipped the child support check. And that's how I made it through high school. I made it through high school by selling drugs. Unfortunately, you know, that's like the last option on my list. Like, I would say, like, I wouldn't let anyone try to take away my free will and my independence. I don't care what kind of boss you are, what status you are. I'll go sell some dope before I let anyone disrespect me in that manner. So, you know, but that's the last on my list. The last on my list is to be a dope girl, you know what I'm saying? Because in that mindset I was in before, I used to be like, I'm gonna be a dope girl, I'm gonna be a dope girl, let's run some shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, the stuff that goes through your head as a child that you shouldn't even be thinking of. Like, I should have been thinking about being an engineer or something bigger than a fucking drug dealer, like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, we come from the ghetto, we come from the hood. You know, people automatically think that we don't have discipline and things in that nature, and we're wild and we're aggressive. You get what I'm saying? And they, you know, and that's how they look at us. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I accept that shit. I be like, yeah, you know, that's how I grew up. You know, when my mom felt like I was disrespecting her, she whipped my ass, right? You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's discipline enough. If I know when to be quiet and when to say something, you know, my mom gave us that freedom. Like, my mom gave me a freedom to be like, hey, ma, you slipping, man. You ain't got us no food today, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know, we hear these countless stories, and nobody is different. We all go through, you know, that whole, you know, everybody got a different story. Everybody's story ain't the same. Yes, it is. I hate to fucking tell you, yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it is. We are all getting pushed around like cattle on a hurdle. I understand how people feel. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm here to say that, you know, you don't have to keep going on that same cycle. All right? You don't have to keep, you know, going on that hamster wheel. You can change things, you know. And sometimes people are a reflection of what you hate about yourself. You know, what I hate about that lady was the fact that, you know, she ain't accepting who she is. You know, you ain't accepting who she is. Why you hiring all these young people just to make all these young, you know, naive children that's coming from the ghettos and coming from the hood and trying to make a little just change in their life? Because they don't have to fucking get a job. They could be dope boys. They could be out here fucking shooting and killing people. But these kids were smart enough to say, hey, let me go get a job. And you hire them just so you could make them feel more like shit is wrong. See, I was strong enough to stand up to this witch and say, look, you gonna keep threatening my job? Well, then fucking fire me. Okay? Fire me, write me up, because I'm tired of this shit. Oh, this is not how you supposed to be. And everything she was saying sound like a little girl trapped in her own body that never was able to express herself. So what she hated about me was the fact I was able to express myself. So she had to shut that shit down. What I don't like about her is that you're in a position to help change people's lives, these young kids' lives, and you are abusing it. And the reflection for me was that I have all this understanding, and I am not putting it to the best of my ability. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes I used to be like, yo, if I could go back to school, I would change how I comply to things. I would have gave certain classes a chance, certain teachers a chance. I would have gave school a chance. You know what I'm saying? I would have got better grades. You know what I mean? And if I could change that, I definitely would be in a better position than what I am. But I took the long route. I didn't take the shortcut. I took the long route. I took the hard way. You know what I mean? I had to get smacked down a few times. My bubbles popped a few times. And nothing goes in vain. I mean, this lady was popping my bubble for like, how long she been there? She been there as long as I have. She been there for almost 6 or 7 years. So I had to go through all of this and didn't even know all of this was going on because I was naive. I wasn't taught all of this. And she was telling me on how to deliver, because I would go into the office and just, express how I feel, whether or not if I was saying it forcefully, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing with a lot of these people that's in these positions and these managers, they think that they your mother, because only your mother is going to say, oh, I'm not going to allow you to talk to me in that tone of voice. Why not? I'm grown. You know what I mean? Obviously, you don't care about my rent getting paid, or you don't care about if I can eat tomorrow. You just cutting my hours. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel some kind of way. It's not even because I'm a bad worker. It's because you feel some kind of way. Right? So, I lost track of my train of thought on that because I got a little worked up. But it's like, I know how to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I never had a mother who was hovering over me like that. So that's a trigger. Okay? That's a trigger. That's automatically saying, hold up, wait. My mom don't even do this. So what do you think you doing? You know what I mean? So I was coming in there just like how I was coming toward my mom. You feel what I'm saying? So she was like, oh, there's a way how you come at a person rather come to a person. You see how she was trying to discipline me. Like, why are you even concerned about disciplining me, first of all? Right? Like, why are you worried about disciplining me? So all of this shit is over what? Because your parents told you that's how you were supposed to deliver. That's how like that real Jim Crow, Willie Lynch kind of thinking. Like I wouldn't come up to my boss like that. I don't come at him. I come to him, and basically telling you to stick your tail between your fucking legs because you need your job. So I'm like, listen, I know that this world is in abundance. And I've been at this pay rate for a long time now. I even been behind my rent I think I was behind my rent one time for like almost a whole year. And I dug myself up out of that hole. So I know that there's possibilities. You gotta count your possibilities in order to create opportunities. And I always counted my possibilities. That's why I was able to get myself up out of those situations that I was in. And sometimes these situations that you're in, you didn't put yourself in. So I had to fucking woman up and face my demons. And that was a demon that I had to face. Because prior to that, I felt like I tried to work out. I tried to work out and get into my fitness. And then I was like, yo, there is a big block right now. I have a big block, a big blockage. I have a big blockage. And I was like, what is this blockage? Because I heard my spirit guide tell me and said, yeah, just for a year from now. Just wait another year from now. And then I was getting crazy confirmations for that, And I said, so I know I'm not supposed to quit this job right now because I'm not able to quit this job right now. So it's like, yeah. So I went in there and I said, you know what, you've been, not in the way of saying like that's exactly what I said, but that's how I've been feeling. I got all these different coworkers fucking attacking me. It's like, okay, you guys win. So I talk about that on a later, more detailed scale, and but the results of this was that I had to woman up. Even though in the conversation she was putting me down in the conversation, I oversee those. I was like, yo, you're like my aunt. You feel what I'm saying? In the South. My aunt in the South, she's mad strong, she's mad fixed, she's like, you gotta do it like this. Because I remember I spent 2 years down there with her. And we was going at it. It's like these people have to control you. Like, You know, it's like, you know, they would try to put you in this little mold or this little box. Like, no, that's not how I did it. You know what I mean? And it's like, you can't tell me how to do something because that's how you did it. You know, that's like, that's an old paradigm that's not working anymore. You know, a lot of these people on this job is afraid to speak up for themselves because they're afraid to lose their job. So I had to go in there and be like, listen, man, I don't care about this job right now. You know, she was like, oh, that was stupid. I was like, that's brave. Oh, that's not brave. That was stupid. Okay, then why you didn't write me up? Because you know deep down you wrong, and you the one that's been triggering my triggers because you knew I was from the ghetto. You knew I was from the hood. You knew I didn't have guidance like that. So you knew I probably didn't know how to discipline my anger. Right? So instead of coming at me, she went around me. Right? She didn't come to me. She didn't come at me. She went around me. She manipulated everyone around me to come against me, to come at me so I can have a reaction like a hood rat. You feel what I'm saying? And this is why I'm making this video, because I want to help these young kids, because don't get trapped in that. Because a lot of these people they're hiring a lot of young children because they know these children are naive. You know what I mean? Forget hiring me so I got a career job. Let me get another job so that way I can pay off some of my debt. They're not going to do that because they know you are fully developed in your consciousness. But I'm about to cut this off and then pick this up on another video because I'm running out of space. But to end this one on this note, take control of your life. Don't let people dictate how you maneuver around this universe.